And it's lights out, away we go. Valtteri Bottas pointing to... Oh no, look! It's the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. It's a DNF for MAX. Another safety car.
That was stupid for whoever was at the front.
So box, 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 box.
Okay, copy, box. Hello everybody and welcome to the very first podcast from the Pitlane Africa. My name is Musa Amir and today I'm joined obviously with Mark as usual. Mark, you can say hello.
Hello guys, my name is Mark Miner.
And our first guest, a special guest, he's our first guest. I think, Evans, you and I have known each other for a while now.
Yes, for a while. Yeah, 4 years. True. Yeah, I'm Evans Njomo. Pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. Evans is a massive Formula One fan and has been on our group for a long time. Obviously, if you're on the group, subscribe to the channel because we share videos there all the time. So the first episode, we're here to talk about the season so far. It's been among the most exciting starts to
bro,
the season.
Yeah, true. It has been a very nice season, bro. It's had all the twists and turns we didn't expect. Mm-hmm. At least we have somebody challenging for the title, and for the first time we have Max taking the lead.
Yeah, I think if you remember, last year, the first 3-4 races were all run by Mercedes. The previous year, I think even in 2019, the first 7 races, it wasn't until Austria that non-Mercedes team won. And this year...
This year, things have been very competitive. Red Bull are looking much more faster as compared to last season. Mm-hmm. I think the issue with regards to the change in the rules, the floor rules this season has really somehow affected Mercedes. Going forward, I expect a very tight contest, and for the fans, this is what we want to watch.
Remember, you guys forward. Also we have Ferrari coming up. Yeah?
Yes. We have to mention
young Charlie was really hard for.
Charles Leclerc,
just heartbreaking, bro.
Charles Leclerc is really having a good season, apart from maybe the last race where maybe the car had an issue, the gearbox issue. Yeah. But so far, he's putting in a shift.
Yeah,
I think the first race, he was P6, P4, so good stuff from him.
He's always qualified above P4, I believe.
So far.
P4, that's his
Carlos Sainz is also giving a good shout. Last race, I think he would have given... I think he was so close to winning.
Before we get into the last race, I think we want to start from the first race of the season.
Yes.
What I nicknamed the battle in Bahrain. When Max was in a faster car, clearly. And
sent it all the way.
Yeah, Max qualified on pole, I believe, in Bahrain. Yeah, for the first time, he had consecutive pole positions. If you consider Abu Dhabi last year, and now
and the Bahrain.
Yeah, so Max puts it on pole. Lewis right behind him. Max goes into turn 1 ahead of Lewis, but the Mercedes team, the strategy just works out for them. Lewis has track position.
They all left it to
and
Bono.
Eventually. Leave it to Bono. Eventually, there was the track limits, which was a massive factor all weekend. But funny thing is, Mercedes and Lewis was leading the race, was violating track limits, but you don't get an advantage because you're currently the leader, Sure.
Yeah.
But when you're overtaking, you can't do that, and that's what Max did.
I think with the new rules this season, where when you overtake somebody who is maybe ahead of you, if you veer off or you don't follow the track limits, then you're supposed to render the position back. It was quite entertaining because Max was always had better pace, especially even from the beginning and even in quali. But Hamilton, of course, I think he was slightly lucky.
Lucky or experienced? I was going to say he was experienced because even after that...
Both, but I think luck.
Luck.
I think it was experience because...
Yes.
Why, bro? Jealous.
I'll tell you why. Yes, exactly. Okay. Because if you notice, Max was clearly in a faster car and he defended the right positions. You see, like at turn 4 where he got in, you don't have to defend that bad because it's difficult. But at turn 1 and 2, you have to defend.
You have to defend.
There's some good stuff from him.
Yeah. But again, from the beginning, Max really gave a shout. And that showed why Red Bull are quite fast. There is a lot that they've done from the testing aspect where they were also very good in testing. So that was just like to roll over and continue. And Max really had a good race. It was so unfortunate for him not to win, but
Yeah.
rules are rules again. So and it's what happened. Hamilton ended up winning, but it was quite a close race.
Sticking to Red Bull, Checo, obviously, he qualified, I think, very poorly. I think he qualified 11th in Bahrain.
Yes.
Didn't get out of Q2. But then he had a flyover race. The car failed to start.
Yes.
Got a problem on the outlap. But he went from P11 to P5. You know, that was a pretty strong drive by Checo. And that's, I think...
He's the driver of the day as well.
Yeah, he was the
he
driver
won driver of the day on the day, but...
Well, he was quite impressive, especially in the main race. Comparing where he started and finishing, he finished P5. So that was quite makeup.
Did he start P11 or did he start in the pit lane? It was a pit lane start for
it was
Checo,
a
wasn't it?
pit lane start. Yes, it was a pit lane start.
I can just confirm this,
But
but
you
yeah,
can-
I'm fairly certain
Yeah,
it was a pit lane.
lane
Yes,
start.
it was. Yeah, from the pit lane to P5. That's
But
amazing.
I find most drivers, you take over a new car, so it takes time to adjust driving that car. Especially that's why you're seeing Daniel Ricciardo struggling still. But
Yeah, we'll get to Daniel.
Yeah.
We'll get to Daniel very shortly because his moment was in the Monaco Grand
in
Prix.
the Monaco,
His
he
teammate
really
lapped
had
him.
yes.
But even in Imola, the next race, which is what we're about to get into, the next race, when now Max put the moves on Lewis, because if you recall, Checo for starters, had an amazing qualifying, putting it on the front row.
Yes.
Max in P3, Lewis on pole, obviously. But into turn one, Max, it was a wet race start. You remember, Max?
I remember it was quite
blistering start, past Checo, past Lewis, even though slight contact. Lewis's front
Yes.
wing had a bit of whatever,
Yeah.
but very interesting race, Mark. What did you think about it?
Hey, bro, I'm just telling you, there's nothing else to there's no way to describe this season, bro. It's been all thrilling. Everything has been just thrilling. There's nothing you could predict to this season. It's just been over the roof, bro.
Yeah, but particularly in Imola, we were all waiting for, the Red Bull versus Mercedes battle again. But
for me, the takeaway from the Imola race was the politics that started from Red Bull are better than Mercedes this season. So Red Bull wanted to show that this is just not a one-off. Like we are here to show Mercedes we can give you a shot in terms of the championship. And Verstappen was really dominant. I think that's one of the races. Well, it was quite tight because also Hamilton was also driving quite well, but Verstappen really drove quite better than him, and that's why he won the race.
In Imola, there's like three main things we need to talk about, I would say, which is one, Lewis went off the track, if you remember.
He went off the
track and got into the whatever,
Yes.
the balls.
Yes.
Immediately after, George Russell and Valtteri Bottas collided. Two Mercedes, at least Mercedes junior driver.
Yes.
Obviously driving for Williams. The Mercedes powered Williams.
Yes, Mercedes.
But
unit.
there was that big clash between the two of them, which caused the red flag.
Yes.
Which in turn gave Lewis a chance, give him a sneak back into the race because his car was able to be repaired and put fresh tires on in the middle of the red flags.
Yes.
And charge from P9 to P2.
P9 to P2.
I think it was even out of the points, I believe. I can't remember.
He was at some point out of the points. For me, I think, as you said, one of the key takeaways from that race was the issue to do with Bottas and Russell clashing. Because, Bottas was... so the argument was who is on the right, who is on the wrong. And it was quite interesting because... both are, let's say, Mercedes
they're both signed to
because
Toto
Russell
Wolff.
is still
They're both signed to Toto Wolff,
the prodigy to like Mercedes. He's still part of the Mercedes program. So that was actually the biggest headline. But again, that the race, Verstappen really dominated that race.
Yeah, I won by 22 seconds.
22 seconds.
Of, Lewis Hamilton.
Yes, and the pre-politics to that race was actually the most interesting because. We thought Red Bull, this is just one of the Bahrain, how they were quick. But this one, they really dominated from the beginning. This was signs to show of an interesting season going ahead.
Yeah, but I wanted to mention, we've talked about the two big teams in the first two races. I wanted to now bring in the midfield battle, the
McLaren battle
versus
and Ferrari. Yeah, yo.
Because if you recall at the red flag, Leclerc was ahead of Norris, but Norris put on the soft tires at the red flag, and he was able to go past Leclerc immediately into the first corner. And Norris got to P2, wasn't chasing Max, but he was just trying to stay ahead as long as he can, and he ended up on the podium.
Yeah, for Norris, I think Norris has been a really chosen driver, especially in the fantasy. But
Mark obviously runs our fantasy league. Please, by the way, guys, if you have never seen our fantasy league, we've got it. We would love for you guys to join. The link will be in the description below. Just it may be a bit late to start the season, but there's only 5 races. There's 18 more. It's only been 5 races. There's potentially 18 more.
18 more, yeah.
Potentially. You never know because some races, I think, anyway, Turkey, Canada was removed and then Turkey, but we'll get into that later. For now, please, guys, join the fantasy. Mark, carry on with your points.
I was saying how we have Leclerc and Norris battling for the turbo driver. I'm sure if you don't have Norris as a turbo driver, it's Charles Leclerc. And recently, because of what Norris has been, because of Norris's performance, people went for Leclerc. But unfortunately, Leclerc Leclerc's car just disappointed, and it was just bad if you had Leclerc on the fantasy team, including people like me who
Leclerc's sons, you guys. Support kama ni baba yako.
Initially didn't have Leclerc in my fantasy team, but the way they performed, just the previous race, there was need to take out Norris and give Leclerc the turbo driver, but unfortunately we lost it all.
Charles Leclerc obviously wasn't able to start the race, but Lando Norris and McLaren as well.
For me, one of the biggest, or let's say, advantages, or I think McLaren have done well to invest into Lando Norris in the long term by giving him a new contract. Because his performance have been quite a standard.
Yeah, the kid is flying all the way.
The McLaren unit for me looks much better than the Ferrari unit. And
why, bro?
For Charles being number 4,
it's his opinion, you know.
Yeah, for Charles being number 4,
let him tell us some more about it.
It was quite, because again, I think it's all about aerodynamics, and McLaren seem to have better aerodynamics. That's why from last season, you look at how Ferrari performed. Of course, there is the Vettel issue. He wanted to leave, so I think he wasn't like pushing too hard.
Did Vettel want to leave, or did they want him to leave? You know, you have to ask these questions.
Well,
who would consciously want to leave Scuderia Ferrari?
No one, bro. I think us
the
as
only
the fans
team that
and the owners wanted him out as well.
It was a joint effort,
So from the fans and the team as well.
From the fans,
Yeah, but Ferrari having a great race. Actually, if you look at the results right now, right there, you see McLaren P3, Ferrari P4, Ferrari P5, McLaren P6.
This season, you see why Ferrari this season are performing. They have Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz can play an undercut from number 5 going upwards, so he can be in the mix for strategy. And I think this is what is helping Ferrari. Last season, you used to find Vettel is out of top 10 in many races. And Leclerc does the work alone. And there's no way you can be successful as a team.
The car has been improved. Or maybe maybe Mercedes have been limited. But there's also the car factor. There's something.
The car has looked better this season.
Yeah, it's better.
However, they are saying that it's still work in progress. Yeah. But seeing Charles Leclerc being having a good season, that shows you that he's quite a good driver, and that has been one of the key successes with Ferrari this season.
Sure.
As we move on to the following race, a couple of weeks later, I believe. I don't think we've had back-to-back races this year, have we? And we had.
We had.
Oh sure.
We had the first and second.
Yes, the Portuguese and the Spanish Grand Prix, which were back-to-back, obviously, Spain and Portugal, neighboring countries. Portugal, Lewis Hamilton for the first back-to-back win.
Portugal was quite dominant. Hamilton really dominated.
He did.
Well,
because if you remember, I think somebody, Max Lewis Bottas was on pole.
Yes, Bottas
Yeah,
was on
yeah.
pole.
And then there was a crash by Kimi in the first lap, and then there was a
Yes.
Yeah.
safety car. And then after the
safety
safety car is when Max overtook Lewis even.
Yeah.
But then from then on, Lewis literally showed his class, I believe.
He showed
because
his class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came and overtook Max on track.
Yes.
And then overtook Bottas without no Valtrates, James, nothing like that. It was a pure racing overtake, man. And
Yes. For me, the Portuguese race was dominant. Hamilton really dominated. He showed us his class. That's when now we started saying, Verstappen, yes, he's quick, but Hamilton is the real deal. I think it's the race he got the 100 poles in quali. So he was. That is what actually was the build-up.
No, I think the
poles.
100th pole was in Spain because Valtteri was on
Was it
pole.
in Spain or was it in Portugal?
I believe it was in Spain,
I think
but
it was in Portugal.
Check that later.
We can check later,
confirm
yeah.
the statistics for you guys.
So that was actually Hamilton. He drove that Sunday. He drove well, and it was back to the old memories that Mercedes have been enjoying.
Yeah, and
Bro, but this season, I think once you're off the screen for a second or maybe a minute,
Yes.
you come back and everything is just turned. You find Hamilton is back on top. Max is number 2. You just even don't know where Bottas is anymore. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then Checo having a great race, finishing P4 for Red Bull. Lando quite close as always. Leclerc, but the most important thing here, I would say, look at the home hero, Fernando Alonso in the Alpine.
Number 8.
P7 and P8 for Alpine, and I think Alpine had like 2 good races in a row, like the Portuguese Grand Prix and the Spanish Grand Prix. Were quite successful for them. Of course, those 2 tracks, not too different, minimal overtaking zones.
Yeah.
Esteban Ocon has also been looking good.
He's
been
dominated
scoring
Fernando
points everywhere,
Alonso.
yeah.
He's been better than Alonso.
He's been better than Alonso in many races. Actually, almost all the races.
Yeah, even in quali, he's been better than
Even
Alonso.
in quali,
It's a good fantasy pick. I have to remind you guys.
Yeah.
Fantasy pick right there.
Mark is our chief fantasy guy. He's the guy who runs the team. Yeah, but home hero Carlos Sainz didn't even finish in the top 10. He was P11. Poor race from him.
He had also a bad quali, I think. So
Yeah.
So that is what
one terrible weekend.
maybe
for him.
that is actually something that contributed to him not finishing well on Sunday. So from there on, when I saw he's out of the top 10 in quali, then that affected his position on Sunday.
Actually, that wasn't their home race. Sorry,
Yes.
guys, man. That's my bad.
Bro, just
We were talking about Portugal, but yes, in
how
Spain
it
as well. In
comes
Spain as well, the what are these guys called? The Alpines finished well. Here we look. Oh, poor Fernando Alonso, P17. What a guy, poor guy. Didn't even finish the race.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
He
the
finished.
only DNF was Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, it's another. This race was all about strategy. I mean, the undercut? The undercut really played. It was just massive, Red Bull did not think Mercedes was supposed to pit. Yes, it's a 2 pit stop strategy, but Red Bull did not think Mercedes were about to pit the second time. So they let Verstappen to keep going on. But Mercedes just pulled this card. Hamilton, once he went back on track, then he was gaining, I think, 1.5 seconds per lap.
Yeah.
And
it was just obvious he was going to.
he was obvious. And then Verstappen, I think, pitted wanted to get the
fastest
lap.
lap. He did.
And he did. But again, there was an issue with, which race? There was an issue on the track limits where he really complained and said,
it was
The
he did
Portuguese-
the Portuguese Grand
the
Prix. He tried
Portuguese
to do
race.
the same thing,
Yes.
but he couldn't because of the track.
But this race, the Spanish race, showed us the class that Mercedes have in terms of
because
strategy.
we have good strategies, yeah.
Instantly, like when Lewis boxed,
Yes.
the team were like, Lewis, you're going to have to do it like Hungary. And then Max, the
Yes.
team radio, they were immediately like, okay, Max, might be another Hungary 2019. Hungary 2019, what an amazing race it was. What a battle between the
Actually,
silver arrow of Lewis
I watched
Hamilton.
the how they pulled it because
I think you also sent
it was
me
an
the link.
11
You sent me the link.
seconds, an 11-minute clip where they were telling Hamilton was a bit hesitant to box,
Yeah.
but they said, let's just pull it, this move, it will be last minute, and
They're not going to know. They're not
they're
going
not going to know.
coming.
And everybody was just shocked. Why is he pitting? And he still needs to catch up. But for me, it is one of the reasons why Mercedes are this good. When it doesn't work, they can pull off a strategy, an undercut that can make them win. And this is what happened. Reminiscent of Hungary 2019.
Yeah, before we go on to the next race, I just want to talk to both of you guys about Valtteri Bottas, man. Like, this is a guy who is in the fastest, probably it's the closest thing to the fastest car, but he's now even P4 in the Drivers' Championship. Of course, he's had 2 DNFs in 5 races, but still, like, what is going on with Bottas? Is he always going to be a number 2 driver, and does he have a chance at all of even coming back in to sniff the title race? Mark first.
For me, I think it's time for Bottas to leave. I think we just need another Netflix Drive to Survive season and see his struggles.
You see his struggles, or see him butt naked.
No,
what's wrong with you, man?
No, we don't want to see that again, bro. We just need, I think we need Russell to come in, take his position, then we see the battle. We need to see a battle in Mercedes. If it's not a battle between Hamilton and Verstappen, we need a battle within the Mercedes team.
An intra-team rivalry, like back with Nico Rosberg.
Yeah, we need to see them crashing and maybe...
Yeah, because I don't think I've ever seen Lewis and Valtteri go into one another.
Yeah, the last time we saw some rivalry between... In a team was Ricciardo and Max. And
no. How can you forget about Magnussen and Grosjean in 2019? The Hasses collided way too many times.
Yeah, we need to see something like that. But it's not our wish, but we always wish for a safety car and something.
When you're colliding for P17 and 18, it doesn't count.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. For me, I think Bottas. It might be time, especially considering this season he has not really pushed hard. Considering, yes, he has had 2 DNF races in terms of races. But
and P3s in every other race.
P3s. But again, look at it this way. Russell is performing, always puts a shift in quali. I think he has out-qualified Latifi.
He's Mr. Saturday.
Yes,
Russell,
he's Mr. Saturday. So pushing such Williams to greater heights, then it means Mercedes might need to make a move this season, because again I feel you need a driver to do undercut. That's why you always 1 and 2. So it's a team sport. But again, when you're on track, there's the preferred driver. But again, there are races where strategy favors this drivers compared to the other driver. Going forward, then if this continues with like what happened in was it the Spanish Grand Prix where Bottas was told step out so that Hamilton can pass, and then there was a bit of a scuffle. Looking forward,
he really didn't let him go.
I think they might need to try Russell and see how it goes, because if they don't extend, I don't know whether they'll extend his contract, because what is his contract validity? I think they are supposed to have talks. So
yeah, they probably will. Driver silly season is going to start, because most people were given contracts up to only 21 because of the rule regulation change next year.
Yes.
But guys like, I think Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon are on multiple year deals. Ricardo and Norris whatever. Verstappen and Leclerc are solid.
And then again, I'm also remembering was it the Bahrain Grand Prix where Russell really put a shift. It was only that Mercedes ended up pit stop
last year,
putting or doing wrong tires as compared to both drivers.
That was literally robbing him of a win.
So that showed his talent, and he's a good driver. That one I can assure you, he's quite a good driver. And it's time for Mercedes to look at bringing a young person on board, so that within time he can start becoming the next big thing. Because Hamilton might not be in the sport for too long. He's 36. So if he's
36,
he's 36.
Yeah,
so they need a younger driver to come in, the same way you've seen Ferrari doing with Leclerc. Just give him time. First season he'll learn, make mistakes, but the next season then he starts dominating the sport. So that Hamilton now, the burden can now start shifting, so that now it can be more of the two delivering, instead of just one person being given the baton and always told you're the main guy.
Yeah, now
so I think that's what they need to do.
One last question on Valtteri Bottas for you guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we are now 5 races in, and the battle between the title is quite clearly Lewis versus Max. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
if Bottas gets a win or two, does he then get back into the title challenge and do Mercedes give him an equal chance, or is it quite clearly, Valtteri, you need to support your teammate?
For me, I think it's Max and Hamilton. I still think Bottas is a bit far. And you see, the thing is, every driver will still make a mistake at some point. But again, Hamilton has a bad race, like the Monaco race. He finished P7. So that is poor standards for Hamilton, like being P7. But looking at Bottas, I mean, there's a lot that he needs to do. And then again, for him to catch up, it will be I think it will be slightly late. And for me, the championship will be Max and Hamilton, and let it go on.
Okay. Thank you for that, man. As we go on to the Principality, Monaco, the Monte Carlo, let's just call the Monaco Grand Prix, not the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. What a quali. What a quali. Now, before we get into okay, let's get straight into the highlights from quali. Charles Leclerc putting it on pole in Q3. However, do you guys think there is any chance he crashed his car on purpose? To make sure that nobody else... Remember, Nico Rosberg caused a yellow flag in qualifying in 2014, I believe, or 15, I can't remember, just to
2015.
2015, to prevent Lewis from doing a fast lap. So do you think there is a chance that Charles did that? And here's one more statistic that is gonna, just add to this. Nico Rosberg and Charles Leclerc grew up in the same city, Monte Carlo.
Bro, yo, that's so far-fetched, bro.
Bro, hashtag conspiracy theories, hashtag F1 conspiracies, guys. You already know.
Yeah, no, bro. I don't think that's the situation we have here.
Well, I spoke to my brother about it, and my brother also thought that there's a chance Leclerc did that on purpose.
Yeah, you need to bring your bro next time. You need to hear this. This is a real theory.
For me, I don't think he did it on purpose, considering we had had crashes, especially in practice. I remember Latifi crashed. Was it Schumacher as well? Because Schumacher missed quali, actually. The problem with the Monaco track is it has the slightest margin of error. It has 19 corners. When you make an error, you are at the barrier because it's a bit narrow.
Yeah, there's literally no runoff
So for me, I can give him the benefit of doubt, considering the track is quite tough to drive and
tough to drive. And you went to school right there by La Rascas.
But again, you
don't
can't
drive.
really compare a normal track.
Bro, the teachers are there.
But again, looking at the margin of error aspect of that track, it's a bit tricky. It's a narrow track. So many corners combined together, like the chicane and everything. So for me, I still think
has a bunch of chicanes as well.
Yes, it has. So for me, I can give him the benefit of doubt, because I still feel he really wanted to show why he was pole, rather than just being luck or I've nicked it and I don't want guys to beat me. And actually, he really wanted to race, because I remember how gutted he was when the gearbox refused to start at the main race. So,
do you think the reason why it stalled is because he really pushed it on Saturday?
No. For me, I think it was a crash.
Those cars are made to be pushed, bro. Those cars are made to be driven on the limit. I think if you drive a Formula 1 car 150 kph, bro, you're disrespecting that engine.
For me, I think it was because of the crash, because it was quite nasty.
It was a bit heavy,
And since Schumacher also suffered the same fate, that's why he never did quali. So I think that's the reason, because it was quite fatal, the way it looked. Of course, we thought he would make it, because Ferrari telling us they could do something, make it start, but it wasn't to be, and it was sorry for Charles Leclerc.
Do you think he's gonna push the next for the next Grand Prix? Do you think he's gonna be on pole second time?
Being on pole on a normal track, I think might be hard for Ferrari, considering
Yeah, but Baku is not a normal track. Baku is a city circuit, but it has
Good straights.
very long straights. That's
Very long
exactly
straights,
what I was
yeah.
going to
So
say.
DRS
So are you backing Leclerc on for the second pole?
No,
I think-
no, not at all. Personally,
Okay.
I think Monaco is not Monaco is a high downforce track. You know,
Yes.
very many corners that you have to go slowly and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, and I think the Ferrari were good at that. Even Leclerc was saying that like the last sector in Spain, which is very technical as well, you know, they were the quickest.
But
so I think the Ferrari is suited for such tracks. I think
Ferrari are very good in corners, short corners. So that's why you find them. I think the way they lock up, I like how it could be maybe they're better in lock up. So that's why they're able to gain pace much faster. And I think the track really favored them. And that's why Carlos Sainz, I think, was second. Because those mini corners, the Ferrari car is well equipped to battle such tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, as we go into the results from the Monaco Grand Prix, obviously Max Verstappen, who had qualified P2, had to now, but they didn't move up the grip. You just stay from where you were. Started P2 or P1. I really don't know what to
Started
what to call
P2.
it. Yeah, I started P2.
But it's sort of P1.
But the second immediately the race starts, then it's P1. You know.
Yeah, because now Leclerc is not there, and
but again, massive bad luck for Valtteri Bottas. Came in the pit stop. The wheel gun was just moving.
Just witnessed the longest pit stop ever.
Yeah, that one we can't really blame him because he really wanted a podium. And when I saw that the wheel gun is not really coordinating well with the wheel, then I knew that was it. Because how much time will you lose in a pit stop? If you lose more than 30 seconds, then you're done.
You think they should have given him his old tires back and send him back to the track?
No, because
not even legal.
No, you see, like the thing is, you have to. If it's a dry race, you have to switch compounds. I'm sure you guys hear the commentator Martin Brundle. He always mentions it.
Yes.
Gotta love Martin Brundle though. So any standout performers from Monaco, I would say
Vettel for me.
Yeah, obviously Seb did so well, but Checo's undercut was crazy.
Yeah, that was one of the
Checo went from P8 to P4. That's the benefit of clean air and a good car in Monaco, because they did have a good car. They had the quickest car.
It was one of the best undercuts I've ever seen.
But Mercedes, by the way, we need to look at them. They were poor the entire weekend.
I think they
practice 1, 2. Only in FP3 did Bottas now start giving the car that extra thing that even Lewis was struggling to find, because Lewis, I don't think, even topped the charts for even once.
Yeah, he was a frustrated guy the whole weekend.
I think for Monaco, because I know Mercedes were complaining and saying that tires are not switching to temperature, and that affects your race speed. So the way you switch on your tires, then they try to investigate and check on past data, never worked, and during the main race and quali, Hamilton really struggled. So they attributed that to an issue to do with tires. So I feel they are going to get much better, because now this is a mistake they learn from the Monaco race. So expect them to bounce back in the Baku race. Yeah.
Interesting that you mentioned how the tires were being lit up by the Mercedes guys poorly.
Yes.
But Ferrari were very good at lighting up their tires the entire weekend. Like Carlos Sainz was having a flyer of a weekend, man.
Yeah,
he was always just a little bit ahead of Leclerc, even if it was
actually Charles Leclerc.
1/1000th of a second.
Sainz actually wanted to give Verstappen a push, but he said that the tire degradation at the end of the race, because once you lose tire degradation for Monaco, if you can't again pit, because you lose much more time, so you just carry on, because it's quite, it's you lose a position, then you're done, because overtaking is a bit difficult. So
quite difficult.
I really felt that Sainz was actually so good from the beginning, although he lost much pace due to the tires, but he had a good race.
Yeah. So that
Ferrari, my team is really.
Yeah, Mark Isaac. By the way, Evans, what team do you support in Formula 1?
I support Mercedes. Since
Mark
I started watching Formula 1.
I'm a Ferrari fan, followed by Max Verstappen. I think my season is going on well. So far, so good.
Me personally, I can be honest with you guys, I am a McLaren fan.
Yeah, you've been a McLaren fan for a long time.
Bombshell.
Yeah, I'm a McLaren fan. I love the team.
You must be enjoying Lando Norris this season.
I do. I love the guy. But listen, now now that we've talked about the season so far, obviously we've seen it's going to be a close season. In terms of the Drivers' Championship. The Constructors' Championship is also looking pretty good, but I think I personally, I'm not looking like seeing any team other than Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren getting a podium. See, like last year, bro, everyone got a podium. 13 different drivers got on the podium last year. I just think like these days the Aston Martin is a bit slow, the Alpha Tauri.
They're a bit slow.
Can shock you, but that's what I want us to get into. I want us to talk about the two things of next. The first thing is the new drivers and new teams. And next, the rookies. So we're not going to talk about the rookies, Yuki Tsunoda, Mick Schumacher, and Mazepin. We're going to leave those guys aside. But if a guy...
Oh, you have to speak about music.
We will. But
If you don't do that,
first,
bro,
we'll talk about the rookies last. But first, I want us to talk about the new drivers. Obviously, Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari is the best performing new driver so far. Landed on the podium.
Yeah.
It's been consistent.
Been quite consistent
In quali as well.
Yeah, and he's also pushing his teammate a lot.
Yeah. Alonso.
And then you have, I was going to say Sebastian Vettel at Aston Martin. He's had one good race, but most of it has been pretty poor.
Yes.
We have now Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion, obviously. And it's fine, Mark. Don't worry about it. Who else is racing for a new team? Daniel Ricciardo, the guy who everybody loves, but he's really, really struggling. There was that moment at the Monaco Grand Prix when Norris was lapping him and Norris waved at him.
I remember watching that.
Yeah, we perceived it as Norris taking the piss, but apparently in an interview later on he said he had to thank him for giving him space.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think...
let's be honest, we all know he was just making fun of his team.
I think for him, maybe, is it that the car is not working
to his driving style?
That could be a huge
Lando has
factor.
been it's his third year in the team.
Third year in the team, he's got an experience. And for Daniel, I think that's what is contributing to his poor performance this season. Because by his standards, he's always P6 and above.
But I think there's also an issue because I remember at the end of the last season, we had him. Was he almost getting? Okay, he got a podium, right?
Dude, Daniel Ricciardo was amongst the strongest drivers last season.
Last
he had
season.
like consecutive P4s and then a podium, and he got two podiums. He got
remember
a podium
you remember when he did a Shui with the Hamilton? He was quite immense that day. So I don't know. I think
there's something.
And
it's
Imola,
the switch.
He got two podiums in Imola and in...
Yes. I think it was the Spanish race.
No. Nürburgring, the I4 Grand Prix, yeah.
Okay.
Man, yeah, so Daniel Ricciardo struggling. Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. You know how the Red Bull second seat is almost cursed. Once upon a time, it was Daniel Ricciardo's, but I think that time he was the first driver, but who cares?
Yeah, he was, I think he's...
Alexander Albon.
Yeah,
Albon, yeah,
DTM
sure.
Racing being whatever's the...
For me, the second Red Bull seat is normally... I think it's never stable. I don't know, because Red Bull really try something new, and then if it backfires regarding what they want, then they're very quick to chase a driver out. And I don't think they should have chased out Pierre Gasly, because I think he was quite consistent. But again...
But don't you think Gasly needed to be chased out for him to grow into the driver he was? He got a podium later that year. He won a race last year.
For him as a driver, it has made him grow. But for the team, I felt he was a solid number 2. But again, it's what it is, and they went for Albon. Albon again had his own moments, mistakes. And for me, I think Perez is looking good. Apart from a few races, I think he started also slow. But so far, if he can continue with the pace he had at Monaco, then it's a good advantage for Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship.
Looking into the next race, there are just some certain tracks that certain drivers are just good at. And I don't know if you know this, but Sergio Perez is amazing in Baku. I think he has like 2 podiums there, or maybe even 3. Which, if he has 3, is like almost all the races.
He's doing quite well.
He has either 2 or 3 podiums in Baku in a car that was not supposed to be on the podium each of those times. And Sergio Perez is going to be a strong contender for pole and for the front row. This coming weekend, I'm backing him. As who else has been in a new team? Yeah, Sebastian Vettel. I think we've spoken about him. Sainz, we've spoken about him. He's been the most consistent. Seb and Aston Martin. Last year they were a quick car. This year they are so dead, man. What do you think is happening with the Aston Martin?
I don't think. I have no idea. Maybe it's the Vettel effect. I don't know.
I think for me, for the Vettel issue, I think it's more on maybe same as Ricciardo on the car not suiting. Like you see, Vettel I think prefers to be Vettel prefers to be the number one choice as compared to be the second choice. So at Aston Martin, I think Lance Stroll is their preferred first choice, and for me that could play a role in terms of him pushing the car to the levels they want. But again, it's also an issue of adjusting to the car, which is taking time. Some drivers will take time, some settle in quickly. And for me, I think if he can continue with what he did in Monaco, then it looks good for Aston Martin.
That was a very strong performance.
Again, also the overtake he took on
Pierre Gasly.
On Pierre Gasly, it was quite nice.
I think Vettel is having a better season than what was happening in Ferrari.
Yeah, he's having a better season because again there's not too much politics in terms of first, second. So
he has no pressure.
He doesn't have pressure to perform as compared to when he was in Ferrari. Yeah, and then again all the spotlight was Vettel is having a poor season, so that made him. I'm still living, so I don't need to give my best. But yeah.
Okay, and we now move on to the rookies, the 3 rookies from this season: Yuki Tsunoda, Nikita Mazepin, and Mick Schumacher. Mick Schumacher obviously winning the Formula 2 championship last year. Great performance from him, but the Haas is just
a slow
the worst car I've
on
ever
the grid.
seen.
I mean,
have no chance.
It's quite interesting to see how Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen used to push that car, because that car is really bad.
No, but it was good for some seasons, but this one is just not.
This season it's not working, and for Mazepin, we all know it's because of the dad sponsoring the team, and
isn't there the argument that for Schumacher it's because he's called Schumacher?
Schumacher is
but he's also Schumacher won the F2 championship.
But Schumacher is on merit, because again it's more of he won, so he's able to demonstrate the reason why the team has called him. But Mazepin, really, he's been terrible. Just crashes.
Having a terrible season on track, and he's pretty unpopular off track.
He also had some issues when the race was the Formula 1 season was starting, so.
Yeah, actually even last year upon the announcement that he was going to join the team. But what about Tsunoda, the cussing machine? The guy knows all the insults in the world by now.
Yeah,
such a young guy.
For Tsunoda, I think let's give him time. Let's give him time. He's gonna
come
good.
I
think the first quali I saw from him.
Yeah, he did
really
so well.
Yeah, that sent me to picking him in the fantasy.
He's a brilliant talent.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with him is anger management sometimes. I find him becoming too erratic sometimes. But again, he'll learn and become better.
That's Max on the other side.
Yeah.
Same
pedigree. And yeah, but he's a brilliant talent. Yuki Tsunoda is the next. He'll be a talent. He's already a talent, but again, in Formula 1, there's the experience part of learning, getting experience, and he will improve. That one I know he'll improve.
Yeah, man. My opinion on Tsunoda, I quite like him. I think he's a good driver, but I'm more keen on Pierre Gasly, who I quite like. Pierre Gasly also having a good season. Let's just have a look at the drivers' standings before we wrap it up. Here we go. Now, here are the drivers' standings.
That's quite a tight one.
4 points gap.
Yeah. Okay, so predictions, guys. Right now, we have Max in P1, Lewis in P2, Lando in P3, Bottas in... Okay, so obviously Max and Lewis 4 points difference, and then Lando has half the points of Max and Lewis.
Yeah, that's why we say...
4 points between... No, not 4 points. What's that? 9 points?
Yeah,
9 points between Norris and Bottas.
Yeah. And then 3 between Bottas, and now this is where the real battle comes. You see, from Norris up to Sainz.
That's where the battle is.
That's where the battle is.
Midfield.
Yeah, in the midfield. Daniel Ricciardo would be in that battle, but he's struggling a little bit, which is fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, Drivers' Championship so far after 5 races. Evans, your prediction for the 2021 F1 World Champion?
For me, my prediction is Hamilton will bounce back and reclaim the lead. He had a bad day at Monaco, but again, also Red Bull will have a bad day sometime, and it will balance out. But for me, because experience will come in, the issue to do with the also you are like dominance. Hamilton will still dominate. I think Monaco is just was a bad day in the office.
And will Mercedes have the constructors champion?
Yeah,
Will they get
do you think they'll
the
take
lead?
I still think they will. The only challenge why they aren't at that position is because, of course, Bottas having a poor season. So if they get to push Bottas to finishing P3 as they normally do, points will start kicking in and they will reclaim that position again. What I like about Mercedes is that they keep learning and improving on their past mistakes, and I'm sure that's what they'll do going forward. And I'm expecting both Mercedes to nick the championship and Hamilton to win the drivers.
Okay. Mark, what are your personal thoughts? Tatuambia Ferrari. Tatuambia Ferrari dark horse. Kama ile zinakwanga kwa logo.
No, that's that's just far-fetched. I think we have I want to back Verstappen for this title. But I know Hamilton will really challenge, but let me back Max. He will get the championship.
So
but the problem is if we have we just need to, me speaking as a Red Bull fan, we just need
Red Bull fan or Ferrari fan? Just because you're backing.
I'm backing. Max is my, after Ferrari, Max comes second. Yeah, so I'd say if Hamilton gets a few more bad races, I think Max will get it. Considering we have Leclerc also bringing in a battle inside the top three, we might have a challenge for these two. So whoever is messed by Leclerc, that's it. That's the end of the championship.
Okay, so personally, I think Lewis will win, but I want Max to win. You hear me? You know.
Yeah, there's what we want and there's what we have.
What I think, if I analyze,
I also want Leclerc to
logically,
win. Logically,
Lewis will win. Lewis will take the crown. But man, I think that's about everything we've got about time for today. And also, I don't want to make it too long for guys to watch. So, man, thank you so much, man, everybody, for listening in so far. Evans, thank you so much for coming, by the way. You're the first guest.
Thank you so much.
guest.
Do you have any social media pages you want guys to follow or something like that?
Yeah, I think you can follow me Twitter, Evans Njomo. Facebook, the same, Evans Njomo as well. Instagram, e.njomo. You can follow me there, and we'll connect.
Yeah, guys. So it was from me and Mark, man. Thank you so much for listening. Obviously, subscribe to the Pitlane Africa. Yeah. Listen to this. Stream it on. We're gonna have it on Spotify. We're gonna have it on Apple Podcasts, and it's gonna be on YouTube as well. So please, guys, subscribe to the Pitlane Africa, and have a nice. See you next week.